We are going to talk billing today, and if you've been watching the videos, you'll see we've had these bill sync failures ongoing and have not done anything to address them. So today we're gonna talk about setup and what it takes to get these things to properly sync to your ConnectWise instance. And our hypothetical MSP, Rocket Computers, is we're actually leveraging our ConnectWise to do these demos. So the first thing we want to do is make sure you've gone into your product catalog and you have created products for whatever you're choosing to bill, that you've got these created. You should refer to ConnectWise documentation on it, but you do need to go in and create this before you can do your billing. First, let's look at the dash. And this is, if you have an accounting department or something like that, you can have them monitor this, make sure that everything is syncing correctly. If you have any clients that are not syncing correctly, they'll float to the top of the list. We've only got 3 clients in our demo environment here, so all of them have failed. But if you had 50 clients and you had 1 or 2 of them fail, you're not going to have to dig through a bunch of pages to find it. They'll bubble right on up to the top to make it easy for you. So we want to go into the configuration. And with the configuration, we create billing groups. And if you watched our video on ticketing groups, it's the same kind of idea. There always needs to be a default group. And the more consistent you can be with your clients in how you set up agreements and the products that you use, the easier life will be. The default group will automatically apply to any new client that you add in. It will try to find the agreement type that we select here for the group, so it'll apply with no additional configuration needed. You just add a client into your portal, and assuming that they have this agreement type and it's the only one of that type. So for instance, if you had a backup agreement type and you had a client had 2 different active backup agreements of that type, that would require an override. We would have to specify the actual agreement name instead of type. But the type allows us to do things, because we focus in on the type, it allows things to happen like an agreement expires and a new one is created of the same type, and it just keeps rolling right through and applies the updates to the new agreement, and you don't have things break on you. So when possible, you want to be consistent with your clients. It'll make your life easier. So we don't have a group yet. We're going to create a group. We'll call this our default bill group. So as far as agreement types, we are let's go with the SAS agreement type that's in our database. That's it. We'll save the changes. In this scenario, I am just going to charge for storage. You may have a different scenario. You can charge off of managed servers also. So if you had a client, you just charge a flat X number of dollars per month to them to have 1 or 2 or 3. That'll increment your counter there. Or if you have licenses tied to it that you want to ensure that you're billing for, you can set it up in such a way that it would do that. So the product that we want to use is just this backup storage. The StorageCraft Cloud non-pooled would be if we're using the canned StorageCraft Cloud program. If you're on the non-pooled model, you would check that. If you're on the pooled model, you wouldn't check it. And it just changes the way that it's calculated and pushes over. So all of my different backup products I can push and control from here. So I'm syncing to this backup storage GB. It's turned on. I'll save the changes because I didn't do that last time. I want to create another bill group too, just so you can see what that looks like. I'll name this one another bill group, and we'll hit OK. On this one, let's say it's managed backup, and it's not the default group. And on this one, let's say that I'm going to bill for storage, and I will bill for the managed servers that I mentioned before. Managed server. I'll click Save, and now I've got 2 different billing groups. Now I have 3 different clients in our demo environment here: Artemis Company, Space Force, and the Happy Ear. I have not done anything now to tie these clients to the bill groups, but automatically we have a default bill group as noted by the toggle down here. Every time that the portal tries to sync the billing for these clients, because I have not done an override, have not specified anything else other than this default group, that's what it's going to try to sync to. And so for each of these clients, it's going to try to sync to the agreement type of SaaS. I think I'm going to change this to manage backup because I don't think SaaS was correct. So we're going to go to manage backup, and we're only going to try to sync billable storage to the agreement. So we will check back on this and make sure that it is syncing correctly. As you can see, all three of our demo companies are having issues syncing, and that was because we had just never taken the time to set up our bill groups. And the default bill group is going to sync to an agreement type of managed backup. It's not the name. It's important to keep in mind the type. And so if you have a single active agreement in active dates of that type, it will automatically find it and sync to it. And there are some scenarios that fall outside of that. And because of that, we've got some other options. We'll get into those separately. For now, we just want to make sure everything is syncing correctly. We gave it some time to do this in the background. I'm going to check each company. I'm going to check the dash. And after the dash, we'll make sure the agreements have set as a disclaimer. I'm not giving you instructions on agreements for ConnectWise. Do not look at the agreements I set up. They are 100% for demo purposes only. And there's probably zero about them that you'd want to use in real life other than it's an agreement that I'm syncing to. So with all of that said, let's check our dash. Let's make sure that these failures have gone away. Boom, we see they've gone away. Let's check our billing dash. And the bill dash is also looking good. And, well, I've got the companies pulled up here. And this is Happy Ear. And we see we have an agreement of the type managed backup. It started in May of this year, and it has no end date, so it is active. And it has an addition to it for the backup storage, which matches the product type that we had tied to our default agreement of backup storage GB. And so everything lines up for us here. And again, same thing with the agreements. Don't look at these additions and try to copy these. You should use ConnectWise, best practices, that kind of thing. So outside of a demo environment, this is not a practical thing. I just want to make 100% clear that don't set yours up this way and don't critique me on it. I'm just syncing for demo purposes. Here we can see it has synced 84 gigabytes, and it synced it today, which is June 14th of 2020, 12:05, so about 20 minutes ago. It synced 84 gigabytes, and let's look at Happy. Where is Happy? And this would be for the client level. Well, 84.83. Okay, well, yeah, I guess they got a little lucky with the 0.8 not get rounded up. But next will be Space Force or Artemis. I believe it's Space Force is next up. Only has 19 gigs. And this is Artemis backups. You know, there wasn't an addition here when we looked at this earlier. Let's see if it was created for us. Normally, it will be created on your behalf as long as you have created the product in the product catalog. If you have created the product in the product catalog and tied it to your bill group, if the addition does not exist, it will attempt to make it for you. If it can't make it for some reason, it'll show up as an error on your page and you can manually create it. It's usually successful, but as an FYI, you don't have to create these additions unless there's some issue that's preventing it from creating it on its own. And you can see it was created. It was effective as of, well, today, because it was created today. And it has 19 gigabytes pushed to it as the total quantity. And again, we're on Artemis. And if we go back and we look at Artemis, the company, ooh, that doesn't look right. 5343. Am I on the right company? Oh, this is Space Force. My bad. So that makes sense. Space Force actually did have 19. I think I just got turned around on these. So we go to the agreement, and yeah, well, that would be because I named the agreement name wrong. This is actually Space Force. I'll go ahead and change this so I don't confuse myself in the future. And the cool thing here, here's a perfect example of why we look for the agreement type and not the agreement name. With the change that I just made by changing this agreement name, it's still going to sync okay. It's not tied to that name right now. It's tied to the agreement type. We do have a way to tie it to a specific agreement name, and we're going to cover that later. So I changed the name. I expect this will continue to sync okay with no problems. We looked at the edition and we knew it was 19 gigs, which matched our graph. Let's come to the last company and let's just search on backup storage. And there's only one. It was created today by Insight. The portal created it, and we can see it has a total quantity of 52 tied to it. So yep, we can see it was created today, and it was updated today after it was created with 52. Again, this was our last client, and when we go back and we look at Artemis, and so you may be wondering, hey, why does Artemis have 53.4 here, but we are only billing for 52? And so my answer to you is a lot of these, the billing is done off of rolling averages. And so it takes the last 30 days, it averages the number out, and it uses that for your billable. That helps smooth billing for your clients, and you don't have these weird spikes that you might get otherwise when oddball things happen on one day or the other. So it's really just to smooth that out. We did sync successfully all three agreements. The two agreements that did not have an addition already, the addition was created, then updated. Billing is fun if you're an accountant. For the rest of us, maybe not so much. All right, we'll see you on the next video.